Hello and welcome to my corner of the web and YouTube channel. My name is Anthony, and if you're new here, I'm currently attempting to remake a small portion of Street Fighter 2 for the browser using JavaScript and web technologies. The main goal here is to provide some useful tips on how to develop games for the web, and to prove that you don't necessarily need to use a framework to achieve it. It's been a while since I posted an update here for you guys, for many reasons, but thought I'd bring you up to speed on what I've been doing recently in regards to the progress of my Street Fighter 2 clone. If you have seen End of Part 1's video, you may remember I had the title and player select screens at a prototype stage, along with a very early version of the battle between Ken and Ryu. Well, as I've had a couple of weeks free over the Christmas and New Year period, I spent that time migrating the code over to the latest tutorial series code. As per usual, this turned out to be a little more effort than I originally thought it to be. Funny how that always turns out to be the case. As you can see from the inputs here, we split them into different scenes which we instantiate where we need to, passing any necessary state between them. I've also added a couple more overlays too, such as the round and battle result titles, which allows the game to be playable end to end, although for now this just forces you back to the title screen. I've also extracted a number of new sounds, specifically for the narrator to accommodate for these new changes, and lastly I've done some major cleanup and refactoring to bring it in line with the recent video series, in prep for part 11. My top tier patrons who subscribed in December should now have access to this code and these new features. If you want to see more vlogs or web game dev development content, why not like this video and maybe subscribe? This will only encourage me to produce more regular content. I'm almost at the 500 subscriber mark, so it would be cool to hit that before the end of the month. Either way, let's jump into some gameplay and show these new features in action. So we start off with a small disclaimer screen, similar to what you get in the original arcade game. I thought it would be fun to add this into mine as an introduction too. This again is just another scene which will transition to the main title screen. Speaking of which, hopefully this is looking pretty faithful to the original too. Although that had an insert coin message here, which I've decided to remove using the 68000 version as reference. That was a computer-based conversion handled by Capcom themselves, but it felt right to lean on that version where they also removed any reference to coins too. From here however, you can either press player 1 or player 2 start button, and as you'd expect, this will take you to the standard player select screen. As we're only looking to replicate the original CPS-1 or World Warrior version of the game, we only have the standard 8 fighters to choose from, but as you can see, the screen works with all the fighters, showing their avatar and corresponding location flag. Once a fighter has been selected, it will show the plane flying to the opponent's destination. That code is not 100% correct just yet, so I'll possibly come back to that at some point. After the usual versus scene, we get into the current battle scene, with Ken and Ryu on his stage background. So regardless of who you currently choose at the moment, the game will override these selections with those fighters instead. That said, the code should work fine if we decide to add any of the other fighters at a later date. More on that in a second. The next thing I've added is the round result messages. So the game now correctly displays Ryu winning the round, although there are no fighter reactions to this, as we don't have those fighter states set up just yet, but it'll be something I'm looking to focus on next. You may have noticed a flashing press start message in the top right hand corner, which evidently shows we're currently on a one-player game, even though in the code the second player is still controllable, as we don't have any AI for the non-human plays at the moment. Regardless of how easy this will be to implement, it's entirely possible to do now as the game fully supports it. As you can see here, if we were to press the second player's start button, this would interrupt the current game, show the new challenger overlay, and then take you back to the player select screen, where only player 2 can select their fighter. So as mentioned, even though I'll only officially add Ken and Ryu and their backgrounds to the tutorial series, the code I've added will allow for any fighters and their stages to work in theory. With that in mind, I've been playing around with Chun-Li's fighter class, and Ryu's background too, but these are just a proof of concept to prove the point, and nothing more, at least at the moment. All of these changes link to the global state management topic we'll be discussing in part 11 of the video series, which I'll be looking to start next week by the way. If all goes well, this will be available at the end of January. But it should probably be noted that the title and player select screens, and their changes, will be top tier Patreon only bonus features, and therefore will not be appearing in the video series. In regard to the remaining videos, I only have about 3 topics left I'd like to cover. These include global state management, as mentioned, which will cover how to manage the battle of fighter state, how to play music and sound using web audio, and finally how to handle special moves. At that point, I'd like to move on to other things, and possibly a new game conversion. In fact, I already have one in mind, which I'm already excited to start to tackle. And honestly, that is the whole point of these videos. I like to challenge myself to understand how these games ticked, and what it takes to replicate them. That's not to say I'm completely done with Street Fighter though. I may look to extend the series somewhat in the future, to include CPU API for example, which has been requested, but that depends on the demand I guess. I have noticed the view count has been gradually dropping recently, so it does make sense to change things up a little. We'll see how that pans out though before we make any decisions. And just before we sign off, if you'd like to help me out or support the progress of the game, please consider visiting my Patreon page. I post updates and behind the scenes content, and you can even ask me questions, so if you're interested, why not head over there? And with that in mind, I'd like to give a special thank you to these following patrons for keeping me and this project going. So I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Ant out.